Hi and welcome to Pam Branch Designs. Today I'm going to do another hidden paperclip video. This is the second in a series of hidden paperclip paper crafts using my decoupage papers. If you haven't seen episode 1, the link is below. I'm using my 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 decoupage papers to embellish the paper clips, and I'm also using cardstock. The cardstock serves as a base for the Matchbook paperclip, and this is measuring 11 inches long by 2 inches wide. I'm ultimately going to end up cutting back the cardstock, but I like to start with a larger piece so that I have something to cut away. My paperclip is about 2 inches long. Now first I'm going to start by putting the paperclip on the top of the paper. I want the longer end of the paperclip to be on the outside, so I turn it around and then fold the paper towards me, just using the base of the paperclip as sort of a guide in terms of where I need to fold it towards me. Now that I've folded it towards me, I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to fold it again towards me, leaving about a 1/2 inch at the top and then creasing it. So there's a 1/2 inch right there at the top of the paperclip. That's going to serve as the piece that gets folded over to make the matchbook. So that piece that gets folded over is about a 1/2 inch. Now I'm just going to fold it, the little top 1/2 inch piece, I'm going to fold it towards me, away from the paperclip. Now I'm just going to fold the lower part of the paper up towards that flap. I want to have about 2 inches of paper that's not going to be under the flap, but then have a little excess so that it can tuck under the flap. So where the white squiggly line is, that's about 2 inches. So I'm not going to cut right on the 2 inch mark where that white squiggly line is. I'm going to cut a little bit farther away from the 2 inch mark so that there leaves a little bit of paper so I can tuck it under the flap. So that's the end of the folding. That's the base of our matchbook hidden paperclip. So what I'm going to do is a quick recap by unfolding it. So I've cut away that little bit of paper. So now I'm no longer at 11 inches. It's about 9 1/4 inches. And I'm not going to start off the project at 9 1/4 inches because, again, I like to just sort of cut away at the paper as needed. So again, I put the paperclip on top, the longer part of the paperclip facing away from me. I leave about a 1/2 inch or so on the top. So when I fold it down, it leaves that flap. And then I take the flap and I fold that down to give that a good crease. And then I take the lower part of the flap, fold that up, and I cut it so that it's about 2 inches plus a little bit extra so that the paper can tuck underneath the flap. Okay, so the next part is making the little notebook I'm going to be cutting some pieces of paper about 2 inches wide and about 2¼ inches long. I made this little template and I'm just folding this paper over so I have a guide in terms of where to cut the paper. After the paper is cut and put inside the matchbook, I can always trim away at any excess. I don't like to waste, and whenever I have like little bits of paper, I always just sort of throw it in a pile. So that's what I'm using to create the notebook paper. If you have some other special paper, or if you'd like to color the paper by inking or stamping or whatever you'd like to do, it's certainly up to you. And also, I did not create this craft. I'm going to link the video below for the video that I used as a guide to learn how to do this. And it's funny because after I found that video, I thought that was the original, but then I saw that like 5 years ago, there's a video that was posted on YouTube making a matchbook notebook using hidden paper clips. So it seems like this craft has been around for a minute. All right, so now I have my paper cut. I am going to just get it in a neat stack here. And again, I'm going to trim it up when I'm all done. But I'm just going to open up my paper. And this is where the paper is going to go, right underneath that flap. I'm going to tuck it all the way inside. And then I'm going to staple it right at the very top of that fold. Because I don't want my staple to interfere with that bottom flap going back up into that top flap. Now, in the original video that I watched, the lady suggested that you could even sew right across that line, but I'm going to use a stapler because I just think that that's the easiest thing for me to do. And again, I'm getting really close to the crease. And then once I have those staples in place, I'm just going to fold it back down. And you see I have some excess paper there on the side. I'm just going to trim that up with the scissors. I'm going to just tuck that flat back in. I like the way it looks. So now that I have the paper in place, I'm going to glue down the rest of the matchbook notebook. The notebook part was just a little long, so I'm just going to snip that off with a pair of scissors just to even that up a bit. And now it's time to secure everything with glue. And I'm just using some basic glue that I bought at the dollar store. Just like what I did with the paper clip in my first video, I'm just going to secure everything with a paper clip just so that when it glues, everything glues together. So now I'm just going to set that aside so it can dry. And I'm just going to use one that I created previously and it's all dry, so I'm going to embellish that one. As you can see, the flap on this one is a little longer, and that's in part because the paper clip that I use for this one is a little shorter. I think the paper clip on this one was about 1 inch. This is the paper that I'm going to use to embellish this matchbook paper clip. It's available on my website, pambranchdesigns.com, but again, you don't have to use my paper to embellish. You can use whatever embellishment you like. And this is this is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and there's also an option with this particular paper of 4.5 inches, which is great for making coasters, and also 5.5 inches, and also it's available in an 8 by 10. So I have it positioned the way I want it, so I'm going to use some glue stick to just glue down my decoupage paper. And this is actually rice paper. Now I'm just trimming away some of the excess paper. I really like how that turned out. And so now I need to figure out what I want to do with the top of the matchbook. And I figured that I would like to have some color to complement it. I looked around for some cardstock and I couldn't find any that was the right color. So I found the local newspaper that they sort of throw in your driveway once a month. I found some gray color paper inside, and so I just cut that and I'm using that to embellish the top of the matchbook. So I'm just putting the finishing touches on this last paper clip. Thank you so much for watching. This was the second episode in a series on hidden paper clips. Subscribe so that you can be notified when I upload my third episode, which will be coming soon. Ring the notification bell so that you get notified. If you haven't already done so, and if you're on Facebook, please go on over to Facebook and join my Facebook Decoupage group. If there are sales, if there are giveaways, that's the place where you're going to find out about it. So please come on over and join my Facebook group. And there's also some tutorials there, some that I don't put on YouTube. Thanks for watching.